Hi, y'all. I wanted to pop on for a few moments today. I tried to do a live video from my phone for the YouTube channel, and it ended up just freezing up, and so I ended up deleting it. So I decided I'd pop on for just a few minutes to offer a few more cards because that was one of the things that I wanted to do for y'all today. I'm doing this on my Instagram on Wednesday mornings, and I thought it might be a nice idea to do it on YouTube Live as well. So some of my followers followers here could have access to the potential of getting a live reading done, or getting a card pulled for them for the day. So that's one of the things that I'm here for is to offer guidance through tarot cards and oracle decks. And so you'll see me pop on sometimes to do that. And what I do is I just pull cards whenever I'm live and I just allow myself to tell you what that card might represent today. And then it gives you, potential guidance. So if anything does resonate with you, I'd love to hear about it. I'm going to go ahead and start pulling cards now. So the first card that I'm pulling is the Five of Swords. All right, y'all. So that's kind of how I felt whenever I did a little video and then realized quickly that it was not going to go through in the way that I hoped. I don't even know for sure if this one's going to do that. The Five of Swords represents defeat, and it represents letting go. Like there's some things that some battles can't be won. And so the best that we can do at the time is just say, okay, there's nothing I can do, or I can either walk away or I can stay. And neither of those, all I have to do is keep me in check, right? And it's not always easy, but it is the card that represents that, just the feeling of that and recognizing, okay, there's nothing you can do in this actual moment. Surrender the idea that this is defeating you. Surrender the idea that there's anything that you can do to change it at this time. And take action if you need to take action, but really just let yourself think about it too. All right, so the next card that comes up for you is King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles reversed too, y'all. This is a card that represents that there could be some stuff going on in a lot of different areas. So Pentacles are all about material wealth and physical health. And so when that card comes up like that, it could represent somebody not feeling well, not doing good for themselves. They can be, doing things that are bad for them. They might not be as dependable as you think financially, so they can have some instability there, but basically instability and a lack of security. So it can be, if you're thinking about somebody in your life, for instance, and you're asking yourself the question today of whether or not this person is going to turn around, then that's showing you that energy. And consistency, right? Paying attention to consistency, allowing yourself to be aware of those things will be beneficial for you and the potential outcome that will come from that question or those thoughts, right? Or that just experience that you're going through. The Four of Wands comes up next, y'all. I love that because the Four of Wands, this actually came up in the first reading that I did. The Four of Wands is a great card because it talks about a checklist. I always say with people that this is like a checklist card. So if you are starting a relationship, you have an idea of this is how it goes. If you're starting a new job or a new business, you have an idea. These are the things that need to be set in motion for me to bring this idea of this picture that I think it's going to be whenever it's all finalized. It's not necessarily about the end picture because sometimes along the way there's different ways to get there and the picture sometimes looks completely different by the time we get there, but it's the idea of that goal, knowing that you are taking the steps to complete something that you feel good about. It's often a card that represents matrimony and marriage because it's like you marrying yourself with this potential that you feel strongly about. And remember that the potential can change and the steps can change as long as we don't get too caught up with that staying attached to like how we think the steps are supposed to go. It is really helpful. And long-term goals, Ace of Swords. So this is often a card that represents force too. Notice I like how this deck has the sword in, it looks like King Arthur's sword, right? That's located in the stone and he has to pull it out. So sometimes things take a bit more effort. How bad do you want it is what this card says. So if there's people that need to be cut away, if there's something that needs to be said, if there is an action that you need to take that is something that is going to, it starts with the thoughts. It's going to be something that's long term. It starts with the thoughts and it starts with your intentions. And so sometimes that's all we need to do, right? Is set that intention and let that be all we do for the day and take comfort in knowing that sometimes just the thought of what is it that I really want is the only place you need to start. That's kinda cool that that was the last card that came up. I am gonna go ahead and finish up today. I did about 5 minutes. I will try to continue to do that. I'll try to do 15. I think setting on my computer versus my phone helped today, but we'll see whenever it ends up. Thank you for joining in. Like I said, I would love to hear if this resonates with you in any way, and if you have questions of your own, you can always DM me. I do try to do this on Instagram as well, and I can make sure that you have the information and you can ask the questions that you'd like to ask. Thank you so much. Namaste.